Here's the question everybody wants to know. Let's go ahead and get to it. How do you get there from here? How do you get from where you are right now to where you want to be? And in other words, get to full-time music. Well, you can build all the music income streams first as you work full-time. So if you have another job right now and it's paying the bills, then you can start a strategy, and this is kind of what I did, where you start doing work part-time that you plan to do full-time. So you're basically using that full-time job to propel you into your full-time music job. And you're doing that because you're getting a full-time income that's paying the bills. You don't have to worry about that. You're getting bonuses, you're getting 401k, you're able to build savings, you're able to build your studio at home with the money that you make. You can squirrel some away and buy the things you need to make, get that laptop, get that right DAW, and start making it. And use that full-time job and fake it until I'm not going to say make it, fake it until the side hustle becomes the main hustle, which is what I did. If you do it right, no one needs to see that you're doing this. When you're at work, work is work. Maybe you tell some people you do music. Music is not affecting your work life. You're at work, you're doing work. When you're home, you're doing music, and your music is music work. And it's exactly what you want to do, and it's a beautiful thing. But fake it until the side hustle becomes the main hustle. Now, if you do it right, no one needs to see both those worlds. Maybe they rarely coexist, like you DJ a party for work, or you play an event where your work people are, or maybe you help a coworker make a single or an album or something like that. I did a little bit of that as well. I would be at parties where I did music or something like that, or brought my band to a party or something like that. But sometimes that can be problematic in your job, so you got to be careful with that. You build savings, which you should do anyway. And this is a do as I say, not as I do thing. I mean, I try to save, but I'm not a saver. Maybe you're great with money, and you need to make music your full-time job. Here's the real key from getting from where you are now to where you want to be. Now listen, this is very important. First, you have probably built some kind of basement studio laboratory, where you sit and you do all of your music. Well, it's probably time for you to move out of that laboratory, because you've been sitting there just making your own little beats, having fun, when you could squirrel away a minute or two. This is a trap, actually. Having a full-time job and a basement studio. It's a bit of a trap. And you got to get to the point where you start to grow out of that trap and you become a professional who moves out into the local studios. This is what I did. I started moving out into the local studios, not bringing clients to my house to record, but going out to local studios to record them, and working with engineers and working with players and working with other people. I don't care what genre you are, you can do this too. You can start to look at the world around you. I'm getting ready to do this here in Orlando with different people, and I have different studios, and I was talking about my engineer friend who lives here, and so he can be someone who can help me with my business here. And you can do it in whatever city you're in. I did it in Nashville, of course, and I did it in Lexington, Kentucky before I moved to Nashville. I did it in Chicago. I've done it everywhere I've been. I've gone out and I've found the people and I've worked with them, and that brings more money, and it brings growth to you. You start to work with local musicians. You start to work with local singers, other people who have studios or engineers or whatever. And the beauty about this is you don't even have to think about local as much anymore. You can work locally, of course, but you can also work online part-time. Yeah, there's the people you know locally. There's the people at your job or your church or your school or whatever people you're hanging around with. But there's also places like soundbetter.com. There's upwork.com and there's fiverr.com. These are places where people are paying people like you to do work for them and to make music. I just did a job doing some composing of piano pieces for beginners and helping this person come up with kind of a primer for learning the piano. So I'm doing that, and that work paid through Upwork at first. Now it's paying directly. But you can use SoundBetter, Upwork, and Fiverr and start going out and finding jobs now. And these could be jobs that you're doing while you're working your full-time job and starting to build your music career, your music income career, your full-time income in music. You can start to do that by doing it online as well as locally. I have to tell you that online has been 90% of my professional life in the past 25 years. Since I went full-time in 2000, I would say 90% of my work has come from people finding my website, people finding my now YouTube channel, but people find my blog, hearing about me from someone else, wherever they are in the world. 5 different clients from one town, in this one small town in Illinois, and one section of Pennsylvania. That's just all these clients came from. So that happens. And so online is likely where you're going to find work. So if you're trying to turn your music into a full-time job, likely you're going to need to do this by reaching out locally and regionally, and then reaching out online to places where you can do work, putting up a website, showing what you can do, getting people there somehow. How are you going to do it? By doing a YouTube channel, by doing an Instagram or a TikTok, showing you making music? Are you going to do a blog? What are you going to do to get people there? You've got to do something. And then the other thing you can do is what I suggest everybody do, and that is get help.
Hey, let's do get help.
What?
Get help.
No.
Come on, you love it.
I hate it.
It's great. It works every time.
It's humiliating.
Do you have a better plan?
No.
We're doing it.
We are not doing get help.
Get help!
Call someone, get help from someone. Find someone who has already got to the point where you want to get to, which is why people talk to me and consult with me and get coaching with me, is because they want to figure out what I did, how they could do it. And that's what this whole channel is about. Take courses. I have courses. Other people have courses. Find the right course for you and take it and learn what you need to learn to get to where you need to get to. Go back to school part-time. Learn new skills. I taught at a recording school for 2 years, and there were lots of people who had a full-time job and who decided that job wasn't what they wanted to do. So they came to school to learn how to use DAWs, to produce music, and to do engineering, and to make that their full-time job. So get help somehow. But there are ways to get from where you are to where I am, or where other people are who are doing full-time music. But just know, there's no shortage of work that it's going to take. It's going to take a lot of work.